There it goes.
It's a national treasure, but it's been badly neglected. Now, community spirit is resurrecting this maritime landmark. The story tonight, live at 5.
Now, from the ATV News Center at every city and town in the Maritimes, this is the ATV Evening News, live at 5.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Live at 5 for Monday, June 13th. I'm Nancy Regan.
And I'm Bill Jessome. Paul Meunier is still enjoying a well-deserved vacation. Now, here are some of the stories our reporters are working on for you this evening.
I'm Jessome in Halifax. The fight for equality for gay couples is gaining momentum. In a moment, we'll see how you feel about gay issues and talk to people on both sides of the street. That's coming up on Live at 5.
And it bit me. I'm Randy McDonald in Sydney. The life of a single mom. There are rewards, but the moms we speak with don't highly recommend it. The story coming up on Live at 5.
I'm Alan Johnson in Moncton. If you're female and live in a maritime city, you're more likely to be a victim of crime. We'll look at some of the reasons for that coming up on Live at 5.
Also ahead this evening, what can you do to keep burglars out of your home when you're away on vacation? Some helpful hints later.
And also ahead as the cookie crumbles, find out why Girl Guides have dumped the Queen from their Pledge of Allegiance. Later on Live at 5. All this and much more ahead on the Monday edition, including an ATV on your side mailbag. Right now, here's Steve Murphy working on the ATV Evening News at 6. Steve.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Good afternoon, everyone. Coming up tonight in your ATV Evening News at 6 o'clock, the very latest from the George Pitt murder trial, where the mother of murder victim Samantha Don Toole was on the witness stand for most of the day today. Her story is coming up at 6 o'clock. Also tonight, it's tough enough not having the money to make ends meet, but now some poor people say economic discrimination is making their bad situation even worse. The new cost of poverty tonight at 6 o'clock. And how to build a better building. New technology is supposed to be improving our lives, so why are so many new buildings making people sick? ATV's Jonathan Kay on who or what is to blame for sick building syndrome. Right now, it's time for our first fast look at the maritime weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Steve Weigel in the ATV Weather Center.
Thanks, Steve. It looks like a mainly dry evening across the Maritimes as the system pushes out off into the Atlantic. Tonight, we'll see mainly cloudy skies, a few showers beginning before dawn in New Brunswick, and then a mainly cloudy day with a few showers and thunder showers for tomorrow. The complete weather forecast later in the show. Steve.
Okay, weather at 5:30 and then at 6 o'clock, all the day's top stories, including the latest on a sick building of another kind. It's this one, and it has St. Johners demanding action. The old General Hospital in the news again after a couple of firefighters are injured inside it on the weekend. What to do with the old General Hospital, which is literally falling apart from the inside out. Tonight on the ATV Evening News at 6. Right now, back to Live at 5, and Bill Jessome and Nancy Regan, guys.
Thank you, Steve. And first at 5 tonight, the changing face of family values. There were many challenging issues facing families in the 90s, and they can make life difficult, to say the very least. We'll focus on several tonight.
And it's a hot issue, Nancy. Most Canadians are opposed to the idea of same-sex families being openly accepted in our society. That's the finding of a poll conducted for the Canada Committee for the International Year of the Family. And the poll comes amid a growing controversy over the fight for spousal benefits for same-sex partners.
Phonse Jessome joins us now with a look at some maritime reaction to the poll and the question of same-sex families. Phonse.
Nancy, Bill, according to that poll, 67% of Canadians are opposed to the idea of same-sex family. Now, members of the gay community here in the Maritimes say they are not surprised by the results of the poll, and they say it will be up to them to do something to change that statistic. Jane Van Kansas is one half of the gay issue radio programming team at CKDU in Halifax. Her broadcast partner is Dan Smith. Both are gay and live with same-sex partners. They're not surprised that most Canadians are opposed to their lifestyle, but they believe the problem is one of communication.
Within the gay and lesbian community, we have to, as many of us as possible, have to come out to provide that diversity of role models.
Education in the public school system and more mainstream coverage of the diversity of the gay and lesbian community. We see so much of the stereotypes.
Both hosts feel the fight for gay rights is gaining momentum.
We'll hear about same-sex spousal benefits, and then I believe we'll hear about registration of partnerships. We'll hear about marriages. We'll hear about adoption. These won't stop, and I believe the community will become more and more vocal.
A national poll found most Canadians are opposed to same-sex unions. Maritimers we talked to are divided.
I think they should be able to get the benefits that other couples get, but as far as raising children, I think that's up to the individuals.
I don't agree that gay couples should raise children themselves. I don't know, just might tend to, I don't know, might make them grow off the, I don't know, it's hard to say, you know, it's just something I don't agree with myself.
I'm not opposed to gay couples. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with the idea of gays raising children.
I think it's very controversial, and I could see where how many people could be opposed to it. It's untraditional.
They have as many rights as anybody else. I have no problem with it myself.
The issues generate debate in both gay and straight communities, and activists say that debate is not likely to go away. In fact, they see it heating up in the days and weeks ahead. They point to the growing number of gay issue publications at many newsstands as a sign the movement is gaining ground.
People seem more interested in news magazines now in the gay category than anything else.
So the issues are getting more coverage?
Yeah, I think so, because that's what people are really looking for when they come in here.
As more and more gay people decide to take their fight for equality to the public eye, they say these issues are more and more likely to remain firmly planted on the political agenda in this country throughout the rest of this decade. Nancy?
Fons, I'm curious, is there one particular issue that the gay community deems more important than any other in this fight?
No, there's none that they say is more important, although they concede the one gaining the most attention right now is the one for equality for same-sex couples. But there are 5 or 6 key issues, all of which they say are of equal importance.
All right, thanks, Fons. Always a hot political potato. And now for another finding from the same poll. Here's Bill.
Thank you, Nancy. The majority of Canadians believe the growing number of single parents is a worrisome trend. Now, most still think 2 parents with 1 breadwinner and 1 working in the home are the ingredients for the ideal Canadian family. But going it alone with the kids is part of the real world. More on today's Supermoms from ATV's Randy McDonald, who joins us live from Sydney. Randy?
Bill, single parenting means striking a balance. There are careers, kids, and plenty of other concerns, not just about the present, but about the future. And of course, every day, there are challenges.
Hi, Alice. Hi, Teresa. Hi. Hi, Alec.
Heather McKinnon's career in gerontology centers on keeping seniors active, no matter what their age. But Heather has another life. Its focus is single parenting.
Did you have a good day at school today? Yes.
Jonna McKinnon is Heather's energetic 6-year-old daughter. Jonna divides her time between school and the local daycare center when Mom is at work. Jonna and Heather have been going it alone since Jonna's birth.
She's delightful to get up to each morning. There's always something new to talk about. She makes me more outgoing. We go places a lot, share ideas. It's great to have her.
Lest anyone think single parenting is a bed of roses, Heather bluntly laments the lack of a spouse and father in her family.
There should be no such thing as single parenting. It's really hard at times, and I think a child should have 2 parents to get them through life.
Some singles are new to the one-parent game. Debbie Bryden acquired her supermom status 15 months ago. It's lunchtime at the Brydens. Let's look in.
How was school this morning, guys? Good?
Matthew, Scotty, Alex, and Melanie Bryden keep their mom hopping. Debbie Bryden is not only chief cook and bottle washer, she is also the family's sole means of support because her estranged husband cannot or won't make support payments. That means Debbie, on top of everything else, works a full-time job.
With working full-time, the morning is definitely a very stressful time to have the children ready and breakfast and dressed and off to school and then to daycare my younger children. The night is also another trying time with homework and supper time and bedtime, baths, and the responsibilities that go with looking after young children.
Aside from in-home duties, Debbie points out the obvious, that raising kids on a single income, which in her case is just less than $25,000, is a formidable task. She says after food, clothing, and shelter, then the dollar stretching begins, and every dollar really counts when you're a single parent. Bill, Nancy?
Randy, a question for you. How do the single parents cope with the unexpected things, emergency, let's say an illness of a child?
Okay, today, in fact, one of Debbie's little boys was ill, and because these kids are usually in daycare and school, there's no backup at home, so Debbie had to take a parental day of leave from her work with the Nova Scotia government. Luckily, she does have an employer who recognizes the needs of special parents and grants her a certain number of special leave days a year when she can really use the time to help her children. Bill?
Thank you, Randy. Although the national poll indicates that most Canadians are for the traditional family, but the single-parent family is indeed a fact of life. Nancy?
Thank you, Bill. Now a serious social problem that concerns us all. A new survey from Stats Canada shows 1 in 4 Canadians was a victim of crime last year. But are these crimes just random violence, or is there a definite pattern? Live at 5's Alan Johnson is standing by in Moncton with more on that. Alan?
Nancy, a lot of the crimes we hear so much about are preventable through precautions that people may or may not take. But today's numbers also bring the issue of domestic violence into focus. Mention crime to Atlantic Canadians, and the first thing that comes to mind for many is street crime.
We don't like to go out at night by ourselves. I mean, with a group of us, it's not too bad, but I see things every once in a while, and it is scary. I mean, it is getting worse, not better.
I don't go out at night alone on the streets. I do my exercise in the day and stay in at night. If I go out, I go out with a buddy.
We don't go out too much alone. You know, like my wife, she goes to the ball games, always comes home before dark if she's walking. The children are the same way. I don't like seeing them out too much.
But today's numbers also indicate domestic violence remains a serious problem. That's because women are the most frequent victims in attacks, and most victims of violence know their attacker. Fortunately, that was just a dramatization. But for people who work with abused women here in our region, the problem of domestic violence is not going away, and today's statistics prove that. They say it's a problem that needs further attention from the people in power.
It tells us that we still need a lot of work to be done, especially in the counseling. Men needs a lot of counseling, and those women that are being battered also need a lot of counseling.
And for the cop on the street, it's even more frustrating trying to get the victim to take the first step.
A lot of probably abuse has not been reported because of that, because of the fear and the intimidation, and people really feel that they're trapped in their environment and they have no way out, not realizing that we do have support agencies out in the community that are willing to come forward and help and assist in that regard.
So, Nancy, there is help out there. It's just a matter of the victim perhaps swallowing some pride, stepping forward, or taking that all-important first step.
Alan, what's the biggest barrier to women taking that first step?
Well, it seems to be, from the people I've spoken to today, the professionals say it's a fear of the unknown, a fear of change. Even though a woman may be being abused in her current situation, she knows what's going to happen day after day. The unknown is what scares her, the outside world.
All right, thank you, Alan.
Okay, thanks.
Certainly are a lot of serious and difficult issues facing families in the 90s, but there are also a lot of Maritimers like the ones we just saw fighting to make things better in people's lives. Bill.
Thank you, Nancy. And straight ahead on Live at 5, is it a case of too many kids with too much time on their hands? We'll find out about the latest swarming incident in the Maritimes later, and then home, safe home. If you're heading out of town for vacation, how can you discourage thieves from breaking in?
So it's now in the process of giving you a delay, allowing you, in case you made an error, to shut it off.
Bandits beware when Live at 5 returns.
Where do you find Canada's best selection of family vans? A choice of minivans for your family at the Minivan Center. And if you've been searching for your ideal minivan, your search is over. Where do you find Canada's best choice of family vans? At your local Ford and Mercury dealers, the Minivan Center. Now get AeroTrack of electronic four-wheel drive, plus driver's side airbag, rear ABS, air, and powerful 4-liter V6, all for $18,994. The Minivan Center at your local Ford and Mercury dealer.
I use pressure-treated lumber, and I still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Trust Thompson's products, Canadians' first choice in lasting protection.
I need to use Thompson's water seal, but where can I buy it?
You can find Thompson's products at these authorized dealers: Aikenhead's, Beaver Lumber, Home Hardware, Kmart, Pro Hardware Do It, and Zellers. Trust Thompson's products, Canadians' first choice in lasting protection.
Air Nova and Continental Airlines invites New Brunswick to do the one step. One ticket, one baggage check, one connection at Newark. Air Nova gets you from New Brunswick onto non-stop flights to more than 50 cities in the USA. So, while the other guys waltz you all around the country, Air Nova gives you the one step to more than 50 cities in the USA and beyond.
Pop quiz. Are Crispers chips or crackers? Crispers. Introducing new salt and vinegar Crispers. The debate just got harder. They're baked with the goodness of wheat, so they must be crackers. Crackers. Maybe chips. Chips. Yeah, chips. Crispers are made with potato and special seasonings and come in 5 chip flavors like new salt and vinegar. Crackers or chips? Can you wrap your head around it? Good effort. If you can, you'll see that Crispers are part chip, part cracker, and all snack. Now in salt and vinegar.
There's a view from our ATV News live eye in Moncton at this hour. People headed home for dinner. Well, hot summer nights are on the way, but is it true that with warmer weather and longer days also come shorter tempers? 2 violent attacks in downtown Halifax over the weekend have put Maritimers on summertime crime alert. ATV's Tiffany Hussey joins us now with the story. Tiffany.
Nancy, 2 attacks early Sunday morning in downtown Halifax have put 2 men in hospital. One with stab wounds to the stomach. Another was jumped by 5 male youths and beaten severely. Police say there's nothing to worry about, but some Haligonians say different. Do you think that people should be fearful now that the summer months are here and be taking steps to protect themselves?
I don't think at this point there's any need to be more fearful. The warmer weather and more people around could be a deterrent to some types of crime, and it can cause some problems, like I say, with groups hanging around with nothing to do. So it's a catch-22.
Okay. Now, if you were to give some advice to people about what types of safety precautions they should take, even if they're downtown late, they're coming home from somewhere, what would you suggest to them?
Well, they should try and travel with somebody. That's always a good practice, to have other people with you, to go in a group if possible. And if you're by yourself and you find yourself in an isolated area and you just see a group, any group that you're not comfortable with, cross the street or go the other way, just as a precaution. The group doesn't necessarily mean there's any trouble just because there's a group of people, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Over the weekend, a man was beaten up, jumped by 6 youths, and a vicious stabbing left a 28-year-old man with 5 stomach stab wounds. The police say it's nothing out of the ordinary. What about down around the library? They seem to have quite a few problems in front of the library.
There have been very, very few calls to the library at all so far this spring. The groups are hanging around there, but if they're not doing anything wrong, then there's no reason to bother them.
But Halifax residents were out at night say an increase in homeless people and displaced youth on the street may be part of the problem.
With the kids that don't have any jobs and are just hanging out, no money, and, you know, I think it's desperate times for a lot of kids.
I think there's even more hanging around this summer than last. Yeah.
And do you get scared for your safety when you're walking?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
We see people strung out on drugs and stuff, and, you know, it's just kind of scary when you're walking around and, you know, you see people, you know, it's all weird and stuff, coming up to you and, you know, asking you for money.
So police and downtown business owners, in talking to them today, say that they're not as of yet concerned about a growing or starting crime wave, but they do agree that things do get busier when the weather gets warmer, and they as well have noticed an increase of homeless people, both youth and adults, on the streets.
All right, thank you, Tiffany.
You're welcome.
And I guess the bottom line, as Constable Falkenham said, was that you are better safe than sorry, always. Bill.
Nancy, a vacation is supposed to be carefree, but it's getting harder and harder to go away without worrying about what's going on at home. Well, vacation time burglars are now a fact of life here in the Maritimers, but as Ron Shaw tells us, there are some things you can do to protect your home while you're away.
Now, what about this door? Okay, well, this door is of the most simple type. It's got just a single knob on it with a key entry. These are very adequate, but a better system would be a separate deadbolt
And then there's the deck, which offers criminals a lot of opportunity.
A deck of this type, because of all the wood around it, it will create a barrier preventing the would-be thief to be seen by the neighbors, so he can work at ease, keeping a low profile, and he can open these doors very easily.
And there's another problem with the window that's underneath this deck, if we can go down and take a look at that.
Yes.
Now, what about the window underneath here?
Well, this window, you can see that it's partially hidden by the deck. So again, it creates somewhat of an area where a thief would be more at ease to be detected.
The idea is to make as much work for the burglar as possible. If you go away for more than a few days, make arrangements to have someone else cut your lawn. An overgrown lawn is just like an ad for thieves saying, "We're not home." If you go away, tell the police, and they'll enter it in their computer.
So if I query a certain address, the address would come back as vacant from this date to this date. Contact person is so-and-so. This is who lives there.
If that doesn't make you feel secure, how about an alarm system?
It's pre-wired, and we can do the system while the house is being built. You're looking at $600 or $700. So it's now in the process of giving you a delay, allowing you, in case you made an error, to shut it off.
Or instead of spending all that money for an alarm system, rent this wireless one for $25 a month. In Moncton, Ron Shaw, ATV News.
I guess it's a sad commentary that more and more people these days feel the need to have an alarm in their homes.
That's true, Nancy. Well, still to come on Live at 5 tonight, ATV on your side with Yvonne Colbert. We've got a Monday mailbag later.
But first and next, the final chapter in the great cookie caper, putting a Girl Guide controversy to rest when Live at 5 returns.
He who takes his best shot rules. And in the world of ice beer, Moosehead Dry Ice rules. Dry brewed for a bolder taste. Ice filtered for easy drinking. Moosehead Dry Ice. Dry Ice rules.
To be with you again, I'd walk around the world. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. You had to leave for me to realize I need to see your smile.
Accepted in twice as many places as American Express. Visa, it's the only card you need.
Single vehicle accidents account for 1/3 of the fatalities on New Brunswick roads. In most cases, this type of accident can be prevented because the major causes are speeding, impairment, and driver fatigue. Please, do your part in eliminating single vehicle accidents. Don't drink and drive, keep to the posted speed limit, be well rested, and buckle up.
A message from the New Brunswick Department of Transportation.
They're ready to roll, so you can drive away with the savings. McDonald Pontiac Buick has just made a special purchase of 50. That's right, 50 new 1994 Ford. See us in St. Stephen.
150, 200 here, 250 now, 300, 250s on the aisle there, 250.
Ah, vast collection of Barbara's personal belongings, that's Streisand, of course, went on the auction block yesterday in California. The possessions were in 3 homes Streisand donated to the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. Among the more curious items, a toaster fetched $99, a waffle iron sold for $35, and a pair of Art Deco flashlights, can you believe, went for $55 each. A camping canteen was the object of spirited bidding, finally selling for $190.
Not bad. Hey, the $35 for the waffle iron wasn't
Why didn't
bad.
she put it out on the sidewalk?
Yard sale, Barbara's yard sale.
Yeah.
Well, from the Queen of Concerts to the Queen of England, I guess you could say, it is official. The Girl Guides of Canada will no longer pledge allegiance to the Queen. At a weekend convention, guide leaders unanimously approved the change.
But Nancy, as Janet Stewart tells us tonight, guide leaders say they're not trying to exclude the Queen. They just want to include others.
Since 1910, Canadian Girl Guides have promised to do their duty to the Queen. But starting in October, that will change. The girls won't mention the Queen anymore. Instead, guides across Canada will promise to be true to themselves, their God or their faith, and Canada.
We're always looking at our programs to make sure that we're inclusive, open to all. We've always said that we're open to all, regardless of race, creed, denomination, and we want to make sure that we stay that way.
Beverly Grant has been with the guides for 19 years. She says they're trying to make guiding more multicultural, and she insists they're not trying to dump the Queen.
We do include the Queen in our program with the girls, and we sing God Save the Queen in our Brownie unit.
But how do people on the street feel about changing the guide promise?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. She's so far away from it all that, you know, they don't really relate to her anymore, I don't think.
Maybe something of 30 years ago when we were still part of the British Empire or something like that. But I don't think we need to recognize that anymore.
But they should keep it the way it has been and continue on the future the same way.
So according to Beverly Grant, traditional guide values like teaching girls to be honest and to share will never change. They just want everyone to feel welcome to join in on the fun. For ATV News, I'm Janet Stewart.
All right, thank you, Janet. And if you're sitting at home saying, no, wait a sec, I don't recognize that face, we're very pleased to welcome Janet Stewart to our ATV family. She is a maritimer, and we're delighted to have her aboard here.
Lots of talent
This is her first day of work, and hey, great job, Janet. Terrific. Well, we've got some other family milestones from around the Maritimes. Here is our file for today. We start off with Randolph and Margaret West of Hunts Point, Nova Scotia. They actually marked their 50th anniversary yesterday. They celebrated with their family at an open house on Saturday. Best wishes from 7 children and 15 grandchildren. Another camera-shy couple, no pictures of them. Nikki and Sylvia Power are also celebrating their 50th anniversary. Actually, they marked it yesterday. Congratulations from family and friends.
And it's 66 years together for Oscar and Nell Hartland of Terrence Bay, Nova Scotia. Best wishes from family and friends. Now, these folks aren't so shy. Nancy, celebrating their 60th anniversary Sunday with an open house where Stanley and Annie Kirk of Thorburn, Pictou County. Congratulations from their 2 children and their spouses, 6 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. And on this day, 50 years ago, Carl and Jean Oxner were wed in St. John's, Newfoundland, thank you. They call Oakland, Nova Scotia home now, where they celebrated with family and friends on Sunday. Best wishes from 2 children and 4 grandchildren. Congratulations to our milestone couples, and if you are marking a special event in your life, all the very best from all of us here in the newsroom.
Hear, hear. Lots more to come in the second half of Live at 5 tonight, including meteorologist Steve Weigel with the complete maritime weather picture.
Also still ahead, we'll tell you about our latest Live at 5 giveaway, and we've got these stories from ATV reporters in your neighborhood.
I'm Connell Smith in St. Andrews. The blockhouse was seriously damaged by fire last summer, but with the help of the community, it's now being restored. We'll have more coming up.
I'm Ricky Anderson, and later I'll tell you about a sport that is growing by leaps and bounds.
I'm Dan Vio in Charlottetown with shocking news tonight on Live at 5.
He may not be ready to retire, but Maritime Electric is pulling his plug. I'll have more later.
3. And what are these folks so excited about? Live at 5 gets to the bottom of it later. Stay with us.
How come the guys with the best seats for the Bad Blue Beginning Contest? It's back.
Well, it was a cloudy day across most of the region, but there was more than enough wind for kite flying. That's what young Nicholas and Curran Tompkins did with their dad this afternoon. Our Live at 5 cameras caught up with them in Dieppe as they tried to steer clear of neighbors' trees.
Oh, terrific. Well, aren't you at all curious about what this guy is doing between us?
Why is he between us? That's what I want to know.
Something's coming between us, Bill. Actually, I'll tell you after Steve Weigel's weather.
Ah, can't wait. I can't wait.
Okay, and did you know it's Steve Weigel's birthday today?
What is he about?
He doesn't know, I know, but I want to know how old he is, don't you?
33.
Great weekend, Steve.
How old
How
are you,
does it
Steve?
Thanks, guys. I'm 42 today. No, actually, I'm 28 years old, and I don't know how you found out my birthday. But anyway, the weather today, well, we've seen a clearing trend during the day. Our system has started to push out of the Maritimes, and we're seeing a bit of clear break, some sunny skies through parts of the region, but mainly overcast, and that will continue tonight. We've got coastal fog around the region, and then tomorrow another system pushes in, more cloud showers, chance of a thunder shower during the day. Let's go first to the big satellite picture and go right into the Maritimes. We've got a system pushing out, which I mentioned earlier. It's moving off into Newfoundland and Labrador, some clear skies behind that, but mostly cloudy for the most part, with a few, quite a bit of fog around the area. And then this system through Ontario and the Great Lakes, pushing eastward. It'll push in later tonight, and then we'll see some clouds and showers in the overnight period for New Brunswick, and then tomorrow right across the region. Oh, back to the west farther, a mix of sun and cloud through northern Ontario, and a huge system extending from Manitoba right back to the west coast. They've got a severe thunderstorm watch out for parts of Saskatchewan right now. Heavy rain in some areas, just a nasty system in general. Closer to home, here we go. Here's a close-up of the system which pushed through the area last night. Clear skies, a mix of cloud and fog through the most part in behind that. So it'll be mainly foggy evening, a lot of cloud around the region, but dry for the most part across the Maritimes. And then a system back farther to the west, which is pushing eastward. And we got some active weather in these red areas. It's all pushing our way, and we'll see a few thunder showers tomorrow out of it. 24 hours ago, Sunday evening, we saw a system right over us for the most part. Pushes out during the evening and earlier today, and then we're back into a mix of mainly cloudy skies with foggy periods around the region. So the forecast then overnight in the Maritimes looks like this. We have a mix of clear skies and cloud for the region, but the system will push in quickly during the night, and we'll see showers in New Brunswick before dawn. A warm night now with the westerly and the southerly breeze. 11 to 12 in New Brunswick, 12 for Prince Edward Island, and 12s and 13s for Nova Scotia during the night. And the coastal fog will push in during the night and spread right across the region. Then tomorrow, showers and thunder showers during the day right across the region. Warm temperature with the southerly breeze, 22 to 24 New Brunswick, 22 for Prince Edward Island, 20 for Sydney and Glace Bay, and then 20 to 22 for mainland Nova Scotia. And as we head into the week, we've got some very warm temperatures coming our way. For Wednesday, it looks like mainly clear skies up to 25 degrees. And then Thursday, a fantastic day, 28, even warmer in inland areas. And by Friday, we've got showers and thunder showers. Nance.
Terrific. Thanks, Steve, and happy birthday. Now I want you to meet my new friend. This little guy is responsible for teaching children and their parents about the importance of using sunscreen to protect skin from dangerous ultraviolet rays. He is the Canadian Cancer Society's Slip, Slap, Slop SunSense mascot. Whew, but since that's much too hard to say, he needs a new name. And we're counting on our Live at 5 viewers to come up with one for him. If you have an idea, we'd like you to send us a letter with your suggestion to Live at 5 SunSense Contest, P.O. Box 9321, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3K 5N5. And if you send us a suggestion, you could win. Each day next week, we're going to be learning about SunSense, and we'll be drawing a total of 50 names through the week. And from among the letters that are sent in, we'll draw a total of 50 names, 10 each day, and the winners will win one of these lovely T-shirts with a picture of Slip, Slap, Slop on there, and it's a very special T-shirt. I have to show you a demonstration of just how it works. When this special paint that it's decorated with is exposed to sunlight, the light's not working, Tony. Well, let me just explain it without the light then. When it's exposed to the rays, the ultraviolet rays of sunshine, it changes color, which is just another demonstration of why it's so important to slap on that sunscreen before you go out in the sun or let your children do so. On top of all this, everybody who enters the contest will receive some helpful information on SunSense from the Canadian Cancer Society, and the creative person who succeeds in finding a new name, a great new name for this little guy, will win this little guy, this mascot. Here once again is the address you need to take part. It's Live at 5 SunSense Contest, P.O. Box 9321, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3K 5N5.
Well, at the beginning of the War of 1812, the residents of St. Andrews built a blockhouse to